Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Video Game Collectors Podcast. I'm Matt Rose. That's Josh. That's Robin.
Hello.
That's it.
Hey, Rob. That's it.
Great show.
Yep.
See you again
Mickey
next time.
Mouse. Yep.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Uh, yeah. Robin was one of our first guests we had ever
That's
on
true.
here.
Yeah.
I think it was our first. Yeah. Right. So, Dennis doesn't count. So, first guest and the mainstay of the Video Game Collectors Podcast was Robin Mihara, Nintendo World Championship third place runner up, and also to a lesser known a champion of the Disney Afternoon Play Tour champion, right? Is that right?
1991. Yep. The following year.
Okay. Following year. Okay.
Redemption. Was Chris
Redemption.
was Chris Tang in that one?
He was not. He would have been too old. I was at the maximum age of 14
Okay.
for this one.
Shouldn't have
Thor
been playing
was
Disney video games.
too old. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that we wanted to get you back on the show to talk about video game tournaments from the past in general, before where we're at with esports now today, and kind of touch back on how video game competitions came to be. And, really the rock and roll version of it was the Nintendo World Championship, but there were all these other ones that happened afterwards that there's not a lot of history about out there. And I think it'd be really cool to talk about. So we have Robin on today to discuss his time in being part of this tournament and winning this tournament. So, Robin, I kind of think that we'll give you the floor and you can kind of just give us a brief rundown of what the tournament was like and what you did, where you started. And Matt will interject with questions because he's an inquisitive guy. And I'm going to sit here and just listen. It's kind of my thing.
Okay. Well, yeah, about, gosh, it must have been 4 or 5 months after the NWC ended. There was another newspaper article. That's how I found out about the NWC. And it was about a contest that was going to be held at Clackamas Town Center, which is a mall a few miles away from my house. And it was Capcom sponsored, 3 Disney games, and I owned DuckTales. I thought it was pretty good at it. I'd never played Rescue Rangers, and the coolest part about this contest was that Tailspin hadn't even been released. So, excuse me. um, you didn't have any chance to practice at home, and you just kind of played it cold. There was a few hours where you played before the finals of the regionals, but aside from that, I remember at one point we found the bonus levels in level 1 of Tailspin, and that was really exciting because there were so many points there. But yeah, so this Clackamas Town Center Portland Regional was one of 30 cities. I think it was 30. It might have been, I think one place I read there were 31 finalists. And the shirt that I have actually only has like 20 something cities. I think they added some later. But it was one of the 30 cities where they'd take one champion and then play them all in the finals at Disneyland when it was all over. And having not played Rescue Rangers and obviously Tailspin, I came in second place in Portland, which was a huge stack of Game Boy stuff. It was like, I remember there was a satellite and a new Game Boy and maybe like 5 or 6 games, which was pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Then the tour went north to Tacoma, Washington. I want to say I had a couple weeks to practice, and I bought Rescue Rangers and came up with my own strategies and went to Tacoma and won it there, which I think was about halfway through the tour. And then I just practiced at home, and then Disneyland came, and because of the NWC, I had kind of learned to take it pretty seriously. I brought my Nintendo. A lot of kids hadn't thought of that. and I was ready for any rule changes. I had my Nintendo ready just in case they did something like they did do, which was instead of letting you choose where to start in DuckTales, they would choose. And I had my Nintendo there, so I was able to practice strategies for all 5 levels, all 5 starting zones, and ended up winning pretty easily. I think my final score was in the 3 millions, and second place was like 1,000,002 or something.
Wow.
So it was mostly strategy is why I won by so much. There's in DuckTales, it's like the vast majority of the points are just in the final treasures, and not the diamonds and gems that you get in between. So it's just a race to the treasures, really.
Now, what year would this have been? Because Nintendo World Championships was what, 1990, 91? When was the final? When was the finals?
90. Yeah, I think the finals in NWC was in December.
Oh, okay, so it was right on the cusp of 91. Okay, that makes more sense.
Right.
Yep.
So this was just 91. Yeah, I was a freshman in high school. And sorry, go ahead.
So run me through I guess, how the tournament worked when it didn't change during the preliminaries, right? It was the same order, the same games you got to play. And then when you got to the tournament, the finals, they changed it up a little bit. But when you first played, what was the order of the games? Did you play Chip and Dale first, Tailspin, and DuckTales, or how did that go? And did you move from one system to a next system, or was there a specific competition cartridge for this? How was it similar, I guess, to the NWC and different than the NWC?
Well, the NWC had created their own triathlon game pack, which this contest did not. So I think there were 10 stations. It's hard to remember, but and then everyone would play DuckTales, get all the scores recorded. Everyone would play Rescue Rangers, and then everyone would play Tailspin. And to get into the final 10, I think they like aggregated an average of your scores by rank of all 3 games. And I know that, I don't know, in a couple of the cities, there was somebody who was better at me in like one game, but not the other 2. And then there was always the factor of somebody getting nervous and not playing to their best. But yeah, I think there was a couple different time limits. I want to say one of them was 5 minutes, the most score for all 3 games. And then one was like 3 minutes. And then the finals, I think, was 10. And they just kind of left it on you to pause it when they said stop, which was kind of funny because you could really just grab a couple more things if you were shady. But and then the absolute final game, when they came up with the top 10, was only one game, and it was Rescue Rangers for both Portland and Tacoma.
So you said Tailspin wasn't even out after the competition had started, like at Clackamas Town Center. Was it then out, or was it still not released?
No, it wasn't, and it's pretty interesting because the competition cartridge, which were prototypes, is different than the one they eventually released. The major difference was for us was the bonus round was completely different. You were, I think his name was Kit Cloudkicker. You were the little kid from the cartoon Tailspin, and in Portland and in Tacoma, you got into the bonus round, and he was on this little pogo stick, and he would bounce around grabbing massive amounts of points. And if he went backwards, the whole screen would go backwards with him. Whereas when the finals started, and maybe some of the later regionals, I don't know, they had the retail version, which he is on a like kind of a hoverboard thing, and the screen scrolls automatically, which shouldn't be that big a deal, except I got caught. My little hoverboard got caught on a cloud, which was like basically a platform. And I got kicked out of the bonus round, like the only place you make points right off the bat, of the only place to really get points. So when that happened, I thought I had blown it completely. There were a couple other little differences, like the scrolling of the regular game was it would reverse when Baloo turned upside down in the retail version, I think. And in the prototype version, it just steadily went forward, like Gradius or whatever.
So how did you practice like tailspin leading up to the finals then? You just had to play it at the event and that was the only place you could really.
Yep. I would guess like every competitor maybe had played it 10 times max by the time finals happened. It was really a cool aspect. It was, kind of similar to the movie The Wizard, where at the end they had to jump into Super Mario 3 never having played it.
Yeah.
But miraculously he knew where the warp whistles were. So
yeah.
Fucking
a little problem in the writing, but
yeah.
and getting the star at the end was some huge bonus.
I guess practicing these games, Robin, and coming up with your own strategies, how did you necessarily do it? Did you just pour hours into playing DuckTales and Chip and Dale, or did you have Nintendo Power or Game Pro or EGMs or whatever and try to figure out like what they suggested you to do? Did you call the gameplay counselors and say, hey, what can I do to get more points here? Did you ever try anything like that, or did you just figure it out on your own?
I never called a counselor. I was actually usually better than them when they would come and make appearances.
So you're telling me you should have been a gameplay counselor?
I don't think they got paid anything. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think
you were 14 though. It would have been a pretty cool job.
Yeah, totally. I would have got a lot of good swag, I'm sure.
Probably on the late too.
There were a couple little things. Really, DuckTales, he moves so slow compared to Mario that to me there wasn't much mastering it other than optimizing where to get the bigger gems in between getting the large $1 million prizes. Rescue Rangers, there was a lot to cut off. In particular, when you jumped and landed, there was like a split second of hesitation in the code. But if you were able to jump the split second that you landed again, it wouldn't stop. And other tiny little improvements you could do, like jumping. If you pulled a box up in Rescue Rangers, there was like this sweating kind of animation, and then you would pull it up over your head and then throw it. Whereas if you jumped into it, you wouldn't do the sweating animations. You'd save a 1/10 of a second every single box you grabbed, which was a lot of boxes. I think if you threw the box straight up instead of forward, it cut down on like a frame or two. So there were little things, and you could, like, to the naked eye, I think you wouldn't be able to tell that I was better. But if you saw me playing alongside one of the other competitors, I'd just be like a hair better for all the little motions. And then Tailspin, you just really had to master the bonus rounds. I think in one of the longer versions, you could get to 2 bonus rounds, and in the short versions was just 1. But there wasn't a whole lot to put into that. Truth though, both with the Disney contest and the NWC, it seemed like half of the contestants weren't even really good, which is strange, but it wasn't advertised. Neither of them were advertised very much. So you just get a lot of kids in there that played casually and weren't like me and my mom sitting there for 8 hours with a clipboard taking down scores and a stopwatch. But so yeah, it's usually like there was 1 or 2 kids to worry about in those competitions, and everyone else was just kind of having fun.
So if you won a Game Boy, 6 games, obviously we're just kind of guessing, in whatever at Clackamas, when you won Tacoma, that was for second. When you won Tacoma, what was like the prize there? Was it like
it was less swag, but it was a trip for 4 to Disneyland.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I took my parents and my cousin Michael, which was very cool.
So it was at Disneyland, California?
Yeah.
Not Disney World? For some reason, I thought it was at Disney World. So,
no.
Were there tour stops for this on the East Coast, or was it mostly a West Coast thing?
Yeah. I mean, just on this list here, don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
Ohio,
a ranch.
Tennessee, Connecticut, Colorado, Florida, Texas, Illinois, Missouri, Washington,
No New
Maryland.
York?
But like I said, I think they might have added
Dang.
some. How many is this?
Yeah.
8, 16, 25. I think they added maybe 5. And Tacoma, Washington actually isn't even on here. They put Seattle. So I think they switched that. Probably save some money.
Was it at the Tacoma Dome?
It was.
Really?
How many
Or no,
people
I'm
showed
sorry.
up?
No, it wasn't. It was at the Tacoma Mall. They were all in malls, which made it a lot smaller. I don't know what I was thinking.
Gonna say, man, you were like stadium, like
He was like
people
Bon Jovi over here.
Uh, the Portland NWC was at the Expo Center. That was pretty huge. But this was really just like a 2 standing stations, one for players and one for competition, and kind of a home base in the middle of the walkways and malls.
I forget when you qualified or when you played, you qualified in Portland. No, you didn't qualify in Portland. You qualified somewhere else, right? For the NWC.
Oakland.
Yeah. I had barely played Tetris in Portland. So my high there was like 700 something thousand. I topped out, and then I practiced for 3 months, and I followed it down to Oakland, California.
How many people showed up like in Portland? Like how big were the crowds that were competing?
Well, there were 100 stations, and those would constantly be filled. So I would guess maybe 1,000. I don't know. A lot of people would come and play once just to see if they could get up on stage. It was a very easy score to get up on stage. That was basically 2 Tetrises, I think, guaranteed that you'd get up. My mom did it, for instance.
Wow.
Yeah. And then to get the hat and the badge to come back to compete for real, you only needed 200,000, which was like 3 Tetrises. So those parts were easy.
The Nintendo World Championship, it wasn't really advertised outside of Nintendo Power, but at that point with Nintendo Power was in the household of nearly every kid who had a Nintendo system. So in that regards, Nintendo was a very good company at vertical integration, and they knew their marketing strategy and they advertised to the right people. So kids did show up to that, right? It was advertised fairly well there, but beyond that, the Capcom Disney Play Tour, afternoon Play Tour, wasn't advertised at all, other than, I guess you said, the newspaper.
Yeah, that's the only time I remember seeing it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know if the Nintendo Power, was it the Dr. Mario issue that was the first time, when the one that had Thor and the other champions in it? Because I think that was pretty far into the tour. So toward the end, yeah, people would have seen it and wanted to play. But
yeah, I guess maybe not then, because Nintendo Power, maybe it was poorly advertised because not too many people had Nintendo. That was issue 18 for that. Yeah,
wow.
so
Yeah.
it's early Nintendo Power.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have found it if my uncle didn't show me the advertisement. I think it was like in the living section or something, and I only read Trailblazer News.
Interesting. Yeah. Of course, you should, as you should, in 1989. Only read the
Not reading it this year.
It's a hard year, man.
Wow.
Maybe we'll fire Chauncey Billups. I'm okay with that. So
and so when you won the Disney afternoon, what is it? They called the Play Tour?
Yeah.
I always called it the Capcom Challenge, but that's not it.
Yeah, I've been saying it wrong for years.
What was like that prize? Like, what did you get for winning?
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah.
I got a amazing 27-inch Sony Trinitron. 27 inches I was the king. Really heavy TV. I got a really nice, I think they called it a bookshelf stereo system, also Sony. I loved that stereo. It was kind of small, but it was like one of the first that had the digital levels, so you could see the beat going. And then I got a Super Nintendo with 3 Capcom games, which were Final Fight, UN Squadron, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and of course Super Mario World came with it.
Solid games.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have opened them, but yeah, they were all really fun.
And then you must have gotten that trophy behind you too.
Yeah, I got the trophy there, and they mailed me the stenciled. I don't know if you can see my name and stuff on it, but that came like a week later.
Nice.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm proud of this trophy. I'm glad I didn't sell it.
Glad you didn't sell that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
you should remind people, and then you briefly mentioned it right there. When you were practicing for this, what was the TV you were practicing on?
Oh, before I won, that was probably a 19-inch, like wood paneling. And I know that it had, clickable channel turning
Yeah.
knobs. Yeah, that's a good question. It's definitely long gone. It was on like a rolling cart, and then my Nintendo was below on the shelf below
Yep.
it. I needed a lot of room. I couldn't have like games stacked on the Nintendo because I would have to slam it to get it to work. And games would like fly everywhere, so the games had their own spot.
Yeah, people don't realize. I mean, they try and think back and try and get a visual, but there were a lot of aspects of life then that were different. And playing on the TV, it's not like now we could just fire it up and play on a big screen and you see everything really well. A lot of times, a lot of my friends and even myself had little tiny, like 20-inch was pretty good size.
Yeah.
You had those really tiny and you had to really get in there and,
Right.
it's tough.
You'd see at the NWC, so many of us kids just naturally played with their eyes really close to the screen. And so at the NWC, they had these kind of awkward, tilted TVs on the floor. And a lot of us would, myself included, would kneel down like and play like we were praying or whatever. We kind of were in a way. But yeah, so they didn't really think about that. Really, you want a chest level TV where the kid can get as close to or as far away from as he needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which came in later competitions. So, when you start getting into like early Halo stuff and things like that, they were more up here and you just see bam in it. But yeah.
Yeah. You want to be as close as possible for those like pixel perfect decisions.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I got a question about the NWC, Robin, and the movie The Wizard.
Yeah.
When you were living that experience, did you think that while you were in the NWC, you're like, this is just like the movie? I'm here. I'm playing this, just like the kid and the wizard.
Yeah. I think, can you pull up when The Wizard came out? Because I think I had already
89.
been to Portland. Oh,
Was
really?
89?
Pretty sure it was 89. Here, I got a copy of it. Let me see.
Of course you do.
There's the movie about Robin Mihara.
Yeah, 89.
Sorry,
okay, so what must have happened? Yeah, that makes sense because the NWC had Super Mario Brothers 3 there, and the movie
right,
was
and the Mario 3, it was kind of like the advertisement for Mario 3 because it really hadn't been out in the US when the movie premiered in the theaters.
So, to answer your question, I would rent it and pump myself up when I was kind of training, wanting to be one of the best.
Yeah.
And
so
yeah.
So like Christian Slater and Bo Bridges taking the Nintendo to the hotel. You were like, yeah, we're doing that, Mom. We're taking the Nintendo to the hotel.
Yeah, hoping for the scroll weapon, which apparently was a big deal for them. No, I definitely, related to it a lot. The kids in California and me, both the finals of the NWC and the Disney contest were in California. So it all kind of fit in together perfectly.
Well, the NWC really was great practice for you in a sense for, the Disney challenge.
Because,
right. I mean, that experience alone would put you a few notches above everybody else because you already know the pressure. You have a lot of, what to expect for the most part for a lot of things when it's new and unknown to a lot of people, that could really throw somebody off their game. But
yeah, and it felt a lot smaller. The actual finals in Disneyland was a pretty cool event, but it wasn't like sitting next to the Beach Boys and Nell Carter, exciting Nell Carter from Facts of Life. It was like I don't know. It was built up much more for the NWC, and the Disney one was awesome, especially the finals. But it did feel kind of like Thor wasn't there. That part of me redeeming myself was I wanted to actually beat him, and the kids who I considered my best competition didn't even make the finals. They didn't even make the top 10. So I remember being a little bit kind of irritated when I was up there winning. So I thought it was going to be more exciting. But
So who got second? Who got third? Who do you remember these people, or are they like lost to time in your mind?
second place was somebody named Paul. I think his first name was Paul. His last name was definitely Watanabe.
Okay.
And my mom pointed out that the two Japanese names came in first and second. And then the third place kid was his last name was Russo, but I don't remember his first.
Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah, and you obviously are of Japanese descent, so
Right.
went to all the Japanese kids that competition.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure the parents were like, well, of course the Japanese kids won when, when I saw the results.
yeah, the Japanese love their Disney and they love their Nintendo. So
Yeah.
So
True.
at the finals of NWC, how many people do you think were there? Like, was that a big arena, I guess? How did that?
No, I would guess this is a long time ago. Maybe 30 to 40 rows of bleachers. I don't think it was open to the public. I'm not sure, but there were a lot of celebrities, kind of like B-level celebrities. And then everybody got one travel companion. Some of the cities, I guess, in the beginning of the tour, you'd get 4 tickets to go to Hollywood, but we only had one, myself and my mom. So yeah, you'll see little clips. If you look at the NWC kind of VHS video, they have a shot of the crowd when there's a countdown, but it wasn't like, anything like esports or anything. It could have, if they would have promoted it more, I think it could have been a lot bigger. It was in the Star Trek theater, which was just kind of in the Universal Studios, which was somewhere where you usher in 100 people for an hour show, and then they kick them out and another 100 come in. It wasn't like a big stadium or anything.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So Disney saw that and they're like, we can do that, and we can do it at Disneyland, which is way cooler than Universal Studios.
Yeah, it was really great to have when you lose a big contest, you're so depressed. So to have like a full vacation with your family was great. Like everybody was still really happy that I saw.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you get to stay at the Disneyland Hotel and stuff like that? Like,
no,
they put you at the Marriott across the street.
We were at a Hilton across the street.
Oh.
Down the street. Yeah. I've been to Disneyland several times. I've never been to the Disneyland Hotel. It's like as much as two admissions or something.
Yeah. Get the Airbnb. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, so you talk about how there's lost footage of, for the NWC, there's videos out there that people have recorded it. Is there any videos of this competition that have come out? The recordings of people playing it. Do you know of any? Have you seen any?
The only videos that I know of is one that's on YouTube right now, and it was the VHS that they sent me, which was kind of a news story on my win. And then I don't think we posted it, but there's kind of an extended interview with me in front of the castle. And then I do own like an hour and a half of raw footage that my dad took the entire time. I haven't made it public yet. There's a couple things I need to edit. Like I think there's a scene with a parent with no pants on or something in it. But I will put that up eventually.
That's great.
And the biggest the craziest thing about that VHS recorder, which, we were inspired by Thor. I think Thor's dad had brought a camera around, and there were rumors that he was memorizing the pieces because no one could accept that he was just better. But he inspired us to get a video camera, and my dad just took footage from like my house packing all the way until the finals. And right when the finals started, I think I was 2 games in, the batteries died.
Ooh.
And he ran to like customer service or something and rented another camera. It was a pretty big expense for us back then, 1991 VHS recorders. And you see on the tape, all of a sudden, the tape comes back on, and you see him running like out of breath. And you hear my name announced as the champion. And it's like, it's out of focus. Like he doesn't know how to turn autofocus on. So yeah, he missed the finals. He missed the semifinals. But it's kind of hilarious that the whole reason he bought the camera was for this moment. And he didn't plan the battery situation. Right.
That so makes me think of True Lies, where the guy's filming
Yeah.
the guy, and he's just like, no batteries.
It's the most important like terrorist speech of,
yeah, what are you doing? No batteries, get some.
that was a great scene. Underrated movie, Schwarzenegger.
It's so funny. It's such a yeah, that's entertaining.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome that your dad did that, and that would be crazy fun to watch, that footage. Obviously with it edited down, we don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm a little embarrassed by it because I was just so cocky. I don't even think it was video game prowess related. I was just a cocky 14-year-old. I had on my like little starter outfits and was just thought it was so cool. But most people understand that, when you're 14, you're not at your best usually.
You know everything when you're 14.
Oh yeah. It'll be interesting because you'll get a vibe of
your cam. Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry, you still there?
Yeah, you're good.
You kind of get a vibe. These kids, most of them were so excited to be at Disneyland. They were like running around, drinking sodas. There was an arcade in our hotel, and of course they were all there. A lot of screaming, and I was just in my room practicing. Especially when they told us, the DuckTales change. I was like, oh God, what if they start us at the moon? Like the moon. Oh, so my final win. This is interesting. They chose DuckTales, and these 2 twins, one of them was a finalist, had told me, if you go to the moon, you can actually still get 3 million. And I forget if it was 5 or 10 minutes. If you get the first treasure, and then the moon is a long level. You have to get a key and do something in the ship. And then you walk all the way down to this pit and fight this rat. If you just get the first million and then go take a launch pad, he'll warp you kind of back to the home base, and then you go to the Amazon mine, African mine, which was where you could get 2 million almost instantly, like within a minute and a half or something. So I hadn't even thought of that. I had woke up in the morning and practiced all of these scenarios. What if they start me here? What if they start me here? And I had the wrong one for the moon. So when the finals came, they let the crowd decide. And I looked at my friend's mom, Andy Russo's mom, and she was like right in the front. And I was like, say the moon, the moon. And she turned around and yelled the moon. And so because I was kind of known with some of the moms, I got them to choose the level where I knew that I had the advanced strategy, basically. And then I had them when the announcer was like, and do we want it easy? And I was like, no, hard. I wanted it hard just to make the kids more nervous in their minds or whatever. So the moon on hard, and then I did my strategy. And by the time I was in the mine getting my 3 million, the other guys were just finishing the moon, and they were kind of looking over. Like if they would have looked earlier, maybe they would have put it together where they could do the same thing, but it was too late. But it was cool because, the crowd helped me win. I to this day think maybe I was a stronger player and I could have won no matter what, but who knows? It's also, it's a little bit of a bummer when it's strategy that wins as opposed to just flat out skill. But beggars can't be choosers.
So somebody needs to put together an actual cartridge where there's time limits and
Yeah,
what you can do and can't do.
that would be amazing. And I have the game cartridge to help have that happen because a good friend of mine bought me I think there's only 5 or 6 known of the actual prototype from that contest that has the old tailspin um, bonus round and everything. And I forget who it was though. Who was that bought that game and just kindly gave it to me? Oh, that was you. That's right.
Yeah, had
Bought
to
it
have the
from
cartridge.
who was it that you bought it from?
I got it from Jason Wilson.
Right, Dream.
So
Yeah, that was very kind of you.
I'd spent a ton of money with him, and it all came down to that it belonged in the rightful owner of it.
Yeah,
So
right on. Still appreciate it. Deep in
yeah,
the
and if
safe.
you ever sold it, I would not really care.
Oh, we'll go to Hawaii.
Okay, cool. Why on $400 doesn't sound that too exciting to me.
Yeah.
Um,
So
no,
you
I
say,
think it's really interesting.
you're
I
saying,
think that there's so little information about this out there that we need to talk about it, and I'd love to do more of these with other people that not just you, Robin, that maybe we're part of video game competitions that there's not a lot of documentation on. I think it could be a cool part of something that we do here, Matt, where we talk to
sure.
people about these old competitions where there's the oral history is very important because it's eventually going to be lost, and there's not a lot of written history because nobody kept it, and all we have are relics of Mickey Mouse
Right.
behind you or a T-shirt. And if you do a Google search on this, you can't find a lot. You do an eBay safe search, stuff like this never shows up. People just really don't know what it is. So I I'm excited that you're sharing it with us, Robin, and I hope that other people come to appreciate stuff outside of the NWC. And I think that's kind of what we want to do here is highlight these other competitions that did exist during the heyday of, the golden age of video games.
Right. Good old purple bordered Capcom games. You can't really beat them. Would have been cool if there was a Konami contest. That would have been awesome. But,
Oh man, that would have been fun.
yeah,
Maybe
Imagine,
there was on a small scale and we just don't know about it.
true.
imagine,
We wish.
We wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't know you, so
Yeah, it's true.
imagine the people that would have shown up for that. God,
Yeah,
get to play Gradius Russian Attack and then Castlevania.
Contra instead of Russian
yes,
Attack.
yes.
I have one thing I'd like to point out. Speaking of Konami, it's not the Contra code; it's the Gradius code. Because Gradius came out, it's a hang tab. Contra's not a hang tab.
Gradius was first.
Everybody's got it wrong.
I think people call it the Konami code too.
Don't do that.
I always
Okay.
called it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just made popular by Contra because what it allowed you to do in a game like Contra was to actually be able to finish the video game as a kid, right? Without the 30 guys code, you couldn't do it. I mean,
Adam
I
Cornelius
couldn't.
did it. Yeah. I guess Adam could do it. Anyway, yeah, no, I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm planning on making a little website about it. I got to find more pictures, but and then I'm trying to track down some memorabilia. There is some stuff around, but I can't even find a list of the champions at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask also, after you were done with this video game competition, you retired from video game competitions, or did you try to find another one? Did you think, man, we need to see what's on Sega? I know that some of your other friends and people that participated in stuff like the NWC, they did other competitions as well. Chris Tang went on and, he did the Rock on MTV, which was a pretty
Right.
big deal back then.
Yeah.
So you were done at that point. Capcom was it. You won and you wanted to go out on top.
Yeah, I did play a really tiny Star Fox competition, which was not the one that we know. It was like held by Incredible Universe, and to this day I think I got cheated out of it. They never called me when it was over. But I pretty much stopped home consoles. Definitely by the time the 64 came out, I took one look at that controller and was just like, I think I'm done. But I was playing a ton of Street Fighter 2, and that kind of took over. It felt like more of like kind of a grown-up experience, and I'd be in smoky bars or whatever, not bars, but bowling alleys, and with a small crowd around me. It was really just about chasing that feeling after that. So Street Fighter 2 was everywhere. But then, whatever, 2 years later, Mortal Kombat came out and the crowds followed that, and I didn't follow that. So,
Sure.
I don't know. That was it.
And who was your Street Fighter 2 go to?
Well, the first version, it was Guile. I think he was so overpowered.
Yeah.
And then the second one, the best players, I think, were all Ryu and Ken. So I liked Ryu because he was Japanese. You couldn't really do anything against a good fireball onslaught and Shenlong every time somebody jumped. Nothing you could do.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chris,
because he was American. God damn it.
who?
Ken, because he was an American. God damn it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Wavy blonde hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Matt, we had to opt for Robin today because Dan Kaplan couldn't be here. Do you remember why?
Yeah. Because he got a boner because RJ Barrett signed for the Raptors. Apparently. I said boner. This is not kid friendly.
This is not PG, folks.
Yeah, plug your kids' ears. It's too late, but do it anyway.
Yep. Yeah, RJ Barrett, man, throwing down. Everybody thinks he's toxic, but
throwing it down.
It's turning out to be a pretty good draft pick. Yeah, I guess so.
That's what she said.
We also like to read the comments, right?
Oh, yeah. I do have one update too.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me share dust screen.
God damn it. I was really trying to push this along.
So those of you who like to follow, I know we have some watchers that specifically only follow because of Halo 4. You still have some opportunities out there. And what am I talking about? There's still one 98A++ still out there, but if we look at the stock market today, the Halo stock market, you may have run out of time. Out of the 100 graded 9.8s, I think they've dried up. I think they're gone. Maybe you can still find yourself a 9.6A+. You're going to pay, well, actually, you're not going to pay a lot if you get it on Heritage, but on eBay, you're going to pay about $150. You can find a 9.8A+ on eBay for about $250 right now. There's one left. And then you're just high and dry. But there were some sales I wanted to go over. There was this 9.2A+ CGC that sold for $135. Woo. And then 9.6A+ for $150. And then we actually have a Game of the Year 9.4A that went for $150, surprisingly.
Yeah, which is actually hard to find.
Yeah. So maybe can start considering variants. But yeah, that's our let me get this out of the way. That's our Halo 4 update.
The Halo 4 report.
Yeah,
brought to you by
you missed out.
Gamer Stonks. So
I gotta get one of those.
Now
we'll do it.
Let's go over and you guys see this just fine. Oh, am I still on the same? Let me shrink this down.
There we go.
We're on YouTube, right?
We're on YouTube.
Sweet.
We got all your tabs open.
All my tabs. Shrink our faces off on we'll leave them up there.
I got spaghetti here.
Got total idiots over here. People die inside something. I don't know. All right. Big Box Game Shop 2024. I'm hoping to get a late production NES Super Mario Brothers 9.4A+. Other than that, I'm just hoping to learn about, that's right, we asked people's goals for 2024. Actually, Robin, we'd love to hear yours. Just hoping to learn more about PC releases and share that information with others. That's awesome. That's where a lot of gaming when I was a kid growing up was PC. That's where it was at because they had the graphics. and all the awesome games. Thanks for all the content last year. Look forward to more in the future. Thank you. Thank you for following. All
I
right,
like them.
Josh or Robin, I don't.
Yeah, Phil Screen. Hey, little good old Phil. Phil over there at Kill Screen Games. Check him out. Has a pretty dope Instagram. Josh's campaign slogan for 2024 election: "Don't be a dick, or eat one instead." Yeah, my vote. It's true. Maybe.
Um, Robin, you want to join the party?
How so?
Ah,
You read a comment, Robin.
yeah, read a comment. That's our new thing. Everybody reads a comment.
I can't see.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you can't see. Okay,
Yeah.
Matt, I'll take this one.
It's game. Oh, go for it.
Timmy Gamer Song says the only surprise guest would be Larry, the man, the myth, the legend. Please get Larry interviewed, says Blockbuster Late Fees. If Larry Copeland would like to come on our podcast, I would be more than willing to have him on here.
From IGS, right?
He has I don't know if he is the IGS owner. I don't think so, but he is the wonderful troll of trolls on Instagram, or
Oh,
not Instagram, Instagram too, but Discord is perfect.
okay. Full screen games again. Congrats on 90 episodes. This is our last one here today, by the way. Wish I didn't have to sit through all the Sachin nonsense to get my favorite segment. See, what did Halo 4 sell for this week? Also, I know where my loose game key accessory came from. Pretty rad.
Such a nonsense, you son of a bitch. Um, oh, we'll go over Hong Kong game cartridges next time for you. So
You want to read about your mom?
yeah, my mom says we want Larry, the not IGS owner, to share his infinite wisdom on the better hobby called VHS collecting. And then goes on to say, or if you guys can get legendary Pokemon called Dan Kaplan. Yeah, that's like the Pokemon we can't catch. Um, VHS and all. Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet. Da, da, da. Kivar the Barbarian, cool episode. Enjoyed hearing about what is keeping you guys going in the collecting world. Looking forward to guests you are bringing on soon and for the 100th episode. Man, that's a stretch. We'll
Oh
see if we
man.
make it. 2024 goals. Oh my. I collect mostly mint CIBs and I'm working on a final piece of a hang tab Super Mario 6th print. Just need a mint cart now. If everything works out, it should hit a 9.6 overall. Wow, that's nice. Along with that, I want to revisit some games from my childhood, both PC and console. Secret of Monkey Island, few Sierra titles, Soul Calibur, House of the Dead 2 for Dreamcast, and some more obscure NES titles. Happy New Year.
House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcast is pretty amazing. I'll give you that. Soul Calibur also. Secret of Monkey Island. Great stuff. Sierra titles. Get yourself Police Quest.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I played that.
Maybe you're talking newer Sierra titles, but man. Space Quest too. I do prefer those two. Police Quest probably more than any of them. And then over games like King's Quest. But
I got to do a double here. Timmy Two Toes. Um, I will continue to have the best Call of Duty collection this year. Oh, you got a 906, huh? I didn't
did
know.
he?
I didn't know he did.
Oh
Because I
man.
mean, it's the best, so he must have it.
Hmm. I don't think so.
All right, had to. You go for it, Josh. We only got a couple more.
Oh, Mr. Brandon Ackley. John Vega in the flesh says, geez, Blockbuster late fees and gamer stonks are quick on the draw. Both commented within 2 minutes of the video being posted. Wild. Not sure if I'm impressed or concerned. You probably should be concerned because our two best commenters are probably just bots and we just communicate with them.
Yeah. We just think we're talking to people, but Chris Larson.
Yeah, Larson Town.
A new episode.
Is that Chris Larson? I think so. Or is it just somebody Larson Town?
I'm assuming it's Chris.
Okay.
We gotta get Chris back on the show.
Yeah, we do. I like that guy. Matt's BFF Log Snacks in New Zealand. Out there by Milford Sound says, first, always first in my eyes. Also, Halo is about to explode in value. The vibes are feeling good. Also, my collecting goal is to slow down and be a bit more focused with my random quote unquote investing buying this year. Haha.
That is a great goal. Robin, where'd you go?
Oh,
Robin, did you leave us?
I think my phone's dying.
Uh-oh.
We only have a couple more. Blockbuster late fee second, not first as I thought. I was beat by seconds. Good job, Gamer Stocks. You win this time. Adding the word baby made me lose.
Yep. Only 9 seconds away.
They were
That's what she
literally
said.
boom, boom. I hit post and it was like boom, boom.
Okay. And then Gamer Stonks is first because he wrote something.
Yes.
And that's it. That's our show for today.
Well, not yet.
Oh,
Robin.
Robin's phone's going to die. I don't want it to die while he's not here.
Quick question. Well, that's a well, oh, I see. Let me get out of here. What kind of collecting goals do you have for this year, Robin? Since we're on the subject.
I've been getting a lot of disc stuff that my son loved. So about 10 years old. He's 21 now. 10 to 15 years old. A lot of Borderlands, Batman, Arkham Asylum. Because all that stuff is just tanked. It's like you can get 9.6s, 9.8s for $150 to $200.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, get yourself a Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I've got a few.
And Infamous, right? Do you have any of those?
I don't have that. I have a raw one. I need.
Yeah.
There was a 9.8 A plus for $299 recently, which I did not grab, but I should have.
Uncharted, the standard release version is also very hard to find.
Yeah, I need that.
Mostly
nice
NFR.
For 800, I think. A 9.6 went for 800.
That's a lot, but it's a tough game to get sealed. That's not a NFR. So, yeah.
If anybody has any Uncharted 1, 2, 3, I think 4, my daughter loved those, and I only for discs I try to do 9.6 A plus or above.
Smart man.
So yeah, I'm into that. And Tiger Woods, as always. I only have one guy that competes against me, really. Forget who he is. But
what do you need? You just send me a list of what you need. I think I'm pretty filled up. I only have like 2 that aren't in the grades that I want, but
yeah, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
And then I've been getting a lot of Madden. I got the top of the pop Super Nintendo 94. I think it's shared with one other 9.8 A plus, and then I have the only 9.8 A plus plus Super Nintendo 97 from Joan Bone.
Nice.
So I want to get all the Maddens top of the pop, and then just hoard them forever.
Sweet.
Good game to get, man. It's really undervalued, and
Yeah,
it went through the moon, and then it came back down to the below the earth. Anyway,
do you have any wins? Any quick wins here?
Me?
Yeah.
Not really. Those Maddens would be it. It's been a slow couple of years as the economy has tanked. So is
So it's your
all my streams of income. So
well, you golf now too. So
yeah, that's a big one. I do have a really nice hang tab golf. The top of the pop 9.0 A
Wow.
hang tab. So
it's a banger.
Yeah. It means more to me now that I actually play.
Yeah. Well, cool. I don't have any wins, Matt. Did you have any wins?
I'll throw one out there. I was excited, and since we were talking about Agassi earlier, I was excited that I got the only graded one so far. They're hard to find, and I'm just a big Agassi fan, always was, played a lot of tennis growing up.
Yeah, check this. This is a picture from the Disney contest, and it's me in my Agassi jacket.
Love
That's
it.
me right there. Probably have my matching shoes on.
Who are you photographed with there?
That's Andy Russo. This is the kid I beat him in Tacoma, and then he won his own. And he was the one kid I was the most afraid of, but he didn't win he didn't make the top 10 or anything.
Dang.
I think he lives a couple hours from me. I should
That's
reach
because he's
out.
not Japanese.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Well, sweet. Thanks again, Robin.
Thank you, guys.
Look forward to having you on another time as well.
All right.
Come back anytime. Leave your thoughts and comments for Robin below. If you want to know more about him or anything he's done or been through, leave your thought. We'll get those over to him.
Yeah, we'll just post his phone number on YouTube. So.
Yeah. Address, whatever.
Oh, he bounced.
Oh, and there he goes.
Yep. I think his phone died.
Thanks as always for watching. We love and appreciate you all. Anything else, Josh?
No, that's it.
All right. 91 books. We mentioned Halo. See you again next time.
All right.